Yes, my friends, and welcome to the 2000 Trees preview of the Jon Mahon Show, powered as always by Forever Fucking Loud.
Forever effing loud.
Censoring yourself today.
I'm censoring myself. Can I go a whole episode without swearing?
Is that your goal for today?
I mean, if I can, I'll be surprised.
I'll be
And
surprised.
I'm sure
as well.
everyone else will be surprised if I don't. F or Jeff.
Well, I'll swear for the both of us. How the fuck you doing, bro?
Fucking good.
There we go. He lasted.
Yeah.
Seconds.
That's a good little bit, that.
That was.
Yeah, good, man. Not really done much since I saw you on Monday, but been preparing for next week, in a way.
What's happening next week?
There's a little thing going on from Wednesday that I shall be attending, and maybe you shall be attending.
Maybe.
And this whole show today is about.
Yes, my friends, we are talking all things 2000 trees today, and for very good
Not
reason.
just the foliage.
No, which you're obsessed with, aren't you?
Not just the wood.
You're obsessed with the actual tree factor in 2000 trees.
I'm barking up that tree. No, we'll be talking about the actual festival itself, and what better way to do it than with one of the founding members of 2000 Trees. James Scarlett will be joining us.
Hell yeah, in about 25 minutes time. And then in hour 2 of today's show, we will have Steven Battelle from LostAlone, the band, performing on the Saturday, I do believe, of 2000 Trees. And they've got a brand new single coming out at midnight called The Final Call for Forever, which is a fucking amazing song title.
A lot of fours in there. Forever.
Yeah, when I was making a little promo video to pop on Instagram to tell you that we were going live on the show, I did botch it because the double 4 did throw me. 4 forever.
Yeah.
4-4.
It's a tongue twister. Oh boy. It's a tongue twister.
Unique New York.
Unique
I still
York.
watch that as well.
Yeah.
So
they've had a comeback, haven't they?
LostAlone, hell yeah. And we'll talk more with Steven about it when he joins us in hour 2. But I do believe the music video for the only music video they made for the single off their last album, which was called Enduring the Dream. I think that was filmed on the My Chemical Romance tour, looking at the footage from it. So we'll ask Steven about that, which isn't a bad way to shoot a music video.
Nah. And they go back to back in the day with old MCR.
They do indeed. Very, very
They
close
go
friends.
Gerard way back. It's not. It wasn't that good. It didn't. It didn't deserve that.
It caught me off guard, though.
applause.
It caught me off guard.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that you give me my roses.
It's because
give me
it's
my flowers.
It's because you catch me off guard so
but
much.
sometimes I say stuff. I'm like, it didn't deserve that much of a reaction. If I'm honest, I'm so critical of myself.
Well, I'm not. You make me laugh very, very hard, bro. And we are grateful to you tuning in right now and watching. Thank you so much, my friends, for joining us on today's episode of the Jon Mahon Show. And as we said, it's a 2000 Trees Festival preview where we will be breaking down all the must-see bands on the 2000 Trees lineup for 2023, which I guess we should pretty much start.
Also, if you haven't been to Trees, well, you should go, and you could possibly go courtesy of us.
That's worth mentioning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, my friends, if you would like to go to 2000 Trees Festival, courtesy of the Jon Mahon Show, we've got a pair of tickets to give away to next weekend's 2000 Trees Festival. And to enter, it couldn't be easier. All you need to do is subscribe to the Jon Mahon Show YouTube channel, take a screenshot of that and post it on your Instagram story, tag 2000 Trees _festival and at Jon Mahon Show, and then post it to your story. If you don't have Instagram, you can use Twitter. There's a thread of tweets up on at Jon Mahon Show on Twitter. Take a screenshot of subscribing to the Jon Mahon Show YouTube channel, reply to that Twitter thread with your screenshot, and that's it. You'll be entered into it.
You could go on, screenshot us live on this, broadcasting this.
Yeah. Bonus points if you do it live.
Well, there's no
preference. You don't get favoritism for it. We just love you that little bit more for doing it if you watch.
We'll pick the winners at random.
Winners at random at 8:30. Well, in the last half hour of the show. The competition, the giveaway ends at 8:30, and then we'll collect the data, select a winner at random, and that'll be announced at the end of today's show.
Hell yeah. And yeah, should we get into it? Some trees preview.
Tree views. Some tree views.
Previews. That was what my brain was trying to get to.
2,000 tree views.
I feel like my brain was almost there and it didn't come out right.
It was like a car starting up, but you got there eventually.
Tree views, yeah. Let's go.
2,000 tree views.
2,000 tree views. Who is playing this year?
So, first things first.
Who's soft playing this year?
Well, actually, before that, Wednesday.
Oh yeah, let's go.
We start on the Wednesday at 2,000 Trees Festival, my friend. So 2,000 Trees actually runs Wednesday to Saturday, which I do like in a festival. Having that Sunday
to get home
yeah.
and just be hungover, and then you can start working on the Monday.
Yeah, and you don't lose a day because...
I mean, I guess you still have to book the Thursday, Friday off.
Yeah, but it's a little kinder.
There's nothing worse than coming home or having to leave the festival early on the Sunday or coming home on the Monday after a festival.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
The worst feeling.
That slog.
Yeah.
That end of the weekend slog.
It's just, and it's, yeah, usually, I mean, I usually book the Monday off, but I feel like it just makes the Tuesday even harder.
Yeah.
So at least you've got the Sunday to recover.
And then potentially feel human on the Tuesday. Well, the Monday.
Exactly.
So 2,000 Trees actually kicked their music off on the Wednesday. And this Wednesday is really special for a couple of reasons. You got friends of the Jon Mahon Show, Holding Absence, playing the first of their two sets.
If I'm not mistaken, all the bands that play on the Wednesday played last year.
Oh, sick.
So they do this every year. They'll do
Like a best of from last year.
best of from last year, just on like one stage, I think. So, or maybe two stages. Seems quite a lot of bands. So yeah, all these
Yeah,
bands,
they could run it, the two stages that are next to each other. It's like the
Yeah.
Axiom and the other one, and then you got the main stage further down.
So all these guys played last year, and it's a fucking sick lineup. If you
Great
just
lineup
went-
for the Wednesday.
if you just went for that one day, you would be pretty satisfied.
I'd be happy. And you've also got Bob Villain on this and Agnes. Haggard Cat, man. Shout out to Matt Reynolds.
I was at Trees last year and watched Dinosaur Pilot with him.
Do you remember I think it was the last year we did Scuzz coverage of 2,000 Trees.
Yeah.
And the first day we got there, we were setting up all the camera gear to do interviews and stuff. And Haggard Cat were playing that day. And where we were filming the interviews from, we looked up and there was like a truck selling like either like ice cream or coffees or something like that.
You were on the top
and
of
Matt
it.
was just stood on top of it playing. And it's like, what? Haggard Cat are on.
Yeah. Got booked to play the roof of a I think it was like...
Were they actually meant to be playing up there? I thought he'd just gotten off the stage and just gone for a wonder.
No. So they were just doing like a little few songs on top of this. I think it was a beer truck. Like maybe
Was
like
it?
Signature Brew.
Ah.
Because I think he works with Signature Brew or something. But yeah, it was intended. It wasn't just a random thing.
I thought he was just...
They didn't just let anyone get up on top of a truck and start playing.
Did you ever see... Oh, no, they're not called Baby Godzilla. What were they called towards the end? Heck, yeah. Like, they would climb anything and everything.
I mean, speaking of trees, like, we filmed did a few shows on Scuzz.
Yeah.
I think the first time you did it, they played the main stage, and some of the footage we got from the main stage.
Yeah, that circle pit that's going around. Johnny
Yeah.
just stood there like a fucking legend.
I remember editing that and just being like, this footage is sick.
Yeah.
It's making everything slow-mo.
Trees is great for footage, isn't it? Like, you always come away with banging footage from Trees.
Yeah.
Like, and also random footage. Like, you'll see it in our ad break later on. There's a bit of the fridge.
Yeah, Janine, or Fakovi, had old Mr. Fridge in the circle pit.
Yeah.
That was when the legend of Mr. Fridge was born.
And the legend,
The
of the
legend.
fridge was way hardcore. But yeah, elsewhere on the lineup on the Wednesday, Delaire the Liar. I'd quite like to see, is it Snacks or SNYA?
Snakes. I guess it's like snakes, but spelt phonetically.
Phonetically. Yeah, nice use of the word phonetically. Right, should we jump onto that Thursday?
Well,
that
we
you
should
wanted
also
to talk about?
just shout out Preston Miko.
Preston Miko, bro.
Because-
Thank you, yeah.
Been friends of ours for a long
A
time.
very, very long time.
They did the Scuzz tour back in 20.
The throwback. Oh no, the UK throwdown.
UK throwdown tour. It was Press D'Amico, All Us on
Max
Drugs,
Raptor.
and Max Raptor.
Yeah.
And
Holy
we did a feature where you interviewed them all at once.
Yeah.
Just a bit chaotic.
It was chaos. It was beautiful.
And that was like 2016, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, maybe even 15.
So long. We've been friends with those guys for ages.
Yeah.
And great band.
Yep.
Just sad
Great people.
that they're calling it a day.
Yeah. Which sucks. But at the same time, there is also within destruction, there is creation, as Lucas said on the last show. Because,
On the Thursday,
yeah,
day after,
new band.
Jake and Luke from the band from Press D'Amico will be debuting
Yeah,
their
debuting.
new band, Unpeople, down here.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
But they've not released any music, so it's going to be a surprise to everyone.
Yeah. It's like, what are you going to get?
But they are both incredible musicians, and I guess the rest of the band they've got must be too, so I'm excited to see what they deliver.
Hell yeah. So that is the Wednesday of 2000 Trees Festival, my friends. And just whilst you're joining us now, a reminder that in about 15 minutes time, we'll be joined by James Scarlett from 2000 Trees Festival, one of the organisers and co-founders of 2000 Trees. We've also got a 2000 Trees Festival ticket giveaway happening, which you can enter. We'll give you some details about that in a second. But now let's move on to the Thursday of 2000 Trees, because top to bottom, this is a very, very interesting bill.
Yep. Well, should we start at the top or start at the bottom?
I think let's start at the top.
Soft Play, formerly known as Slaves.
The UK.
UK Slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been gone for a little bit.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time these guys did something, but I
Because
mean,
there was a time when they were fucking...
they were huge.
Yeah.
Like,
Big
I saw
bills.
them at the Kentish Town Forum, and they sold out that show.
Yeah.
And, like...
I remember interviewing them one time, and it was a weird lineup of interviews that day. It was them, then Disturbed.
Hey, cigarette!
Yeah. Davey Draymond.
So, yeah, I'm interested to see that again. Where's Your Car, Debbie, and all those bangers?
Yeah.
Debbie.
I guess they still play the old songs, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I just had a heart attack. Have we got Zoom loaded up?
Oh my God.
Just in case James is running a little bit early. I did forget about that. Because every now and then, some of our guests do join us a little bit early. So it's good to be prepared.
Yeah, we should really be professional with this. But yeah, we're good to go.
There we go. There we go. So Soft Play are going to be headlining 2000 Trees on the Thursday night. Two very
It's going to
big...
be a hard act to follow
just beforehand.
before playing after Skindred.
Yeah.
I assume Skindred will be on the main stage, right?
Oh, dude. Without a shadow of a doubt, Skindred then.
Yeah, you can't have the Newport helicopter in a tent these days, can you?
No. Too much carnage. And I'm actually surprised that Skindred weren't headlining. I'd have thought Skindred in their own right would have been definitely big enough to have headlined 2000 Trees.
I mean, they had a humongous crowd at Download.
It was ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Huge. Huge. But to be fair, I think the Thursday of 2000 Trees Fest was actually, lineup-wise, potentially my favourite day of the three, because just underneath Skindred is a band who I consider to be one of the greatest of all time as far as pop punk is concerned.
Oh, you mean
Bat Sabbath.
that's how
The Wonder Years, man. Like,
yeah.
I am such a massive
That's
fan
a
of this
great
band.
booking.
Such a massive fan of this band. And I saw them earlier on this year. You saw them earlier on this year as well, didn't you?
I did,
You
yeah.
were at that gig too.
Very sweaty venue.
Very sweaty venue, the Academy 2 in Birmingham. Oh, aircon was not on that night, but it was just after they dropped their latest record.
The hum will last forever.
Is that what you saying it's
I'm
called?
gonna say that's what it's called.
The hum will last forever.
The hum something about the hum.
It's called The Hum Goes On Forever. Oh, you were close though, bro. Very, very close.
Change the fucking title right now. But that album was one of my favorites of last year.
Cardinals
It was
too,
one of
mate.
my most listened to albums.
And I love that opening bar of the song where Super's like, I don't want to die.
I don't want to die.
At least not without you.
Well, I think because they were saying live, they were like, last year, people wouldn't believe them when they told them they think they've written their best album of their career. And probably a lot of people might not agree, but I think it's up there.
You put it alongside Greatest Generation?
Yeah, 100%. I think just the strength of the songs is just well written,
But the production as well.
crafted.
It was a
Catchy.
beautifully sounding Wonder Years record, because especially when you do go back and listen to the Greatest Generation, it's got such a raw bite to it that when you actually have like a more softer produced Wonder Years record, it gives more breathing room for stuff like Soupy's voice or the guitar tones to come out.
But I feel like, production wise, still pretty raw. It's got some grit.
Oh yeah, it's got that
It's got
Philly bite
some
to it.
balls. Some big balls, Philly balls. Yeah, Wonder Years, that'd be sick. I wonder, what do you reckon they're playing main? You'd imagine they're playing main stage, right?
I can't see them not playing main stage. Does it say
Yeah,
main stage? Yeah.
555.
Have Clashes been released for 2000 Trees? Do we know?
Well, I guess all the times are on here, but I guess you need it all in one document, don't we?
Let me have a look on the phone, see if there's a 2000.
The good thing about 2000 Trees is it's not a very long walk between stages.
No,
So
that
if,
is.
If someone's on like over there, you're like, oh, because if it's like download or something, it takes like fucking half an hour to walk there.
Oh, so it is just the one stage for the Wednesday. Oh, and it's in the Forest as well.
Is it? Ooh.
So Forest stage on the Wednesday, you've got
Okay.
Snacks, Danelle and the Liar, Prestamiko,
Because,
St. Agnes,
you know
Tight
why?
Club, Bob Villain, Holding Absence.
Because last year was the first time they've expanded the Forest stage to allow full band production. So there'll be full band production in the Forest this year, I imagine.
Bro, that's going to look so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to chat to James about that. Because that's a genius shout. But then there's the Word stage, which Haggard Cat are on. But then it looks as though like some of them are like, I don't know, stand-up.
Well, yeah, I remember there was like a spoken wordy stage on the way to the Forest stage last year. So when you're walking towards the Forest, on the way there's this little stand-up stage.
Bro, I'm just looking at the Forest stage for the weekend. The Forest stage has got a lot of acts going through its doors. Bat Sabbath are on the Forest stage.
But is this like their full sets, or are they doing like...
Yeah, Bat Sabbath are on there for almost an hour, 50 minutes.
So I guess, yeah, that Forest stage is going to be...
I'm just checking because I hope Bat Sabbath don't clash with the Wonder Years. Bat Sabbath are on at 20 to 9.
Also, shout out Dan P. Carter, playing bass for Bat Sabbath.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Good on you, Dan. We've also got on the Thursday, friends of the Jon Mahon show, Lake Malice. They're on 1 till 1:30 on the Cave
Malice.
stage. And the Bronx are also on that stage as well. I was hoping if we're going to get side projects at Tweeds, you know how... Oh, by the way, before we move on, Wonder Years, Soupy's doing Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties.
Yeah.
In the Forest.
Duty.
Right. Bro, were you there the last time he did that?
No. I haven't seen... I don't think I missed them when they played.
Have you never seen Aaron West?
No, never seen them West.
Bro, so the first time I ever saw Aaron West and Roaring Twenties was at Slam Dunk Festival. And then I think 2000 Trees then booked them again after that. And Soupy on stage just had him and a guitarist doing the acoustic guitar stuff. And you know the song Divorce in the American South with the trumpet?
I think so, yeah.
So when it came to the trumpet part, he's like, you didn't come to the funeral. And then all the crowd sing the ba 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 da ba 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 da. And it's such a happy melody, but such a depressing, sad topic of song. And people are just stood there crying their eyes out, going ba 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 da ba 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 da.
Everyone sort of sits down as well. That's
Yeah.
But that'll be good.
That'll be amazing. So there's a band called The Joy Formidable on.
Oh, you don't have to tell me about the Joy for Middle.
I'm telling them about The Joy
right.
Formidable.
That's good for you telling me. I used to be a big fan.
Big fan of The Joy Formidable as well.
Yeah.
Sick band.
That first album, Something Blue, was a...
Go on, test your knowledge again. What do you think it's called?
It's been a while.
Is it something blue?
Oh no, has it got blue in the title?
It does.
Yeah.
It's 3 words. Something blue.
The Big Blue, I don't know.
Into the blue.
Into the Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that album was a banger. I listened to that religiously when it came out.
What a band. Yeah, the Joy.
Because they got discovered, I think after the album came out, Dave Grohl became a big fan and he took them on tour with Foo Fighters.
Sick. Love Dave for that. Oh, what's up, Elliot? In the chat saying, I've never been to Trees, but been told it's a great festival. You'll have to get yourself this year, my friend. And it's still not too late to enter the ticket giveaway.
Imagine that.
Yeah, the Jon Mahon Show ticket giveaway for 2000 Trees Festival. To enter, all you got to do, go and subscribe to the Jon Mahon Show YouTube channel, take a screenshot, then either post it on your Instagram story and tag at 2000trees_festival and at Jon Mahon Show. Or if you go onto Twitter, I put a tweet out the other day with a thread. Basically, just reply to that thread with your screenshot, subscribing, and that's it. You'll be entered. And you got until 8:30 to enter the 2000 Trees Show ticket giveaway, and we'll announce the winner live on this show at the end.
We sure will. You could be in amongst those trees.
Watching these bands that we are breaking down. So let's stick on the Thursday a little bit. Are there any other names on the Thursday that are standing out to you, sir?
Noisy. Ever heard Noisy? Good band. They're like sort of cross between like the Prodigy and like an indie band.
I was going to say, are they the ones that you got like kind of like feel a bit Mac Miller-y in places? Like they got like a bit of
describe
funk and soul to them.
Because they're basically like electronically led band, but they do play live with like a live drummer. But they've toured with like Youngblood. They've toured with Don Broco.
That's where I know them from. Touring with Broco.
So they'll fit on like dancey bills, but they also fit on rock bills as well.
Sick.
They'll be a really good band to see live.
Holy shit! No Devotion are playing on the Thursday.
Yeah.
Weren't they meant to play last year?
Did they not play last?
I think they were meant to play last year and they didn't make it.
Wow.
Damn! Didn't realize they were playing.
Is that the singer from Thursday?
Singer from Thursday and the guys that used to be in Lost Prophets.
Yep.
Yeah.
The forbidden band.
Yeah, but that, from what I remember, those songs they put out at the start of the No Devotion project were really, really fucking good.
I remember them coming out, but I think, it was kind of more like indie-ish,
yeah,
if I remember.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool, but I never really got into it.
Yeah. No, it was real.
Do you know who's good? Svalbard.
How do you say that? My dyslexia has been looking at that for so long and going, I can't even try.
I imagine it's Swedish or
Svalbard.
One of the Scandinavian countries.
Svalbard.
But they're a very cool band. Very like I'm really bad at describing genre or like music. But it's like shoegazy metal.
Okay.
So epic, big soundscapey things going on.
I'll have to give that a go. Are you a fan of And So I Watch You From Afar?
I am.
Big instrumentals.
And I like the band. Yeah, great band. Yeah, I think the last time I saw them was at Trees and I was having a great time.
Let's go. Bro, I've just seen as well, the Thursday night. Have you seen what time Mimi Barks is on?
No.
10:45 till 11:20.
Sick.
That'll be
what stage?
The Forest.
In the Forest.
In the fucking Forest. Oh my god!
I remember last year. Was it Zand did a similar slot?
Oh really?
And with the lights down and like all the like production and stuff, it looks sick in there.
That's fucking sick, dude. This Forest stage looks like, even just that one day alone. Like, bro, look at how many artists from 8 a.m. through till 2 a.m. that stage is open from.
Holy moly.
Holy shit. Those changeover times are going to be something else, but that's sick. Yeah.
That's something like pretty unique about 2000 Trees is that stage. There's not many festivals, especially like of that size, that have something as special as that.
And you know what's awesome as well? We haven't touched on this. Is we'll mention this when James joins us in about 5 minutes. Is the community at 2000 Trees? You've got Camp Turner, Camp Reuben, and Camp Frabbit, all named after artists that have been at 2000 Trees Festival, and they make their own stages in their campsites, and they have bands playing on those stages.
Well, yeah. Well, it all started. I guess we can talk about this, James. But I believe the first camp was Camp Reuben.
Yeah.
Because Reuben were meant to play, and they didn't. And then people started singing Reuben songs in that campsite.
Yeah.
So that got named Camp Reuben.
Camp Reuben, and then you got Camp Turner. And then, evolving onto in Camp Frabbit as a tribute to Fright and Rabbit as well.
Yeah.
So
it's just a lovely... I always say this. It's like, I look forward to going because people are just nice.
The nicest people.
It's weird, like, you assume that people are nice everywhere, but people seem to be extra nice.
Extra nice
in
at trees. Do you think it's because we're in the Cotswolds and it's just like, it feels like a holiday?
Because it's not like you go to other festivals and everyone's a dickhead, but it just feels different at trees.
It's just way more relaxed.
Yeah. The staff are nice.
Yeah.
They have like a lot of good food.
Bro, I was going to get into the food later on, but like...
I can't wait for those, the vegan sushi rolls.
I was going to say, I hope they got that company back. Last year, I murdered those vegan sushi rolls.
God.
Yeah, 2000 Trees Catering. I don't think there's...
Does that make me old? I'm looking forward to the food.
Not in the slightest, because like
The music
2000
festival.
Trees, I think caters to their audience in the best way. Like, I don't think a festival has a higher food standard than 2000 Trees.
No. And it's all like small companies, small independent companies as well. So
yeah,
they don't. It's all good produce,
yeah,
good beer, good local beer.
wholesome business.
Yeah. There's some nice IPAs. You don't drink anymore, do you?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing what 0%ers they got on offer. But Elliot says Graphic Nature is a standout
Great band. Great
for me.
band. I filmed them at a all-day festival in Bedford Esquires not that long ago.
They were at Facedown a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
weren't
They fucking so like brutal and like punishing live. And
they? Who would you compare them to? Like a Suicide Silence?
They got a bit of a Slipknot vibe, you know?
Oh, okay.
Bit of a, but like Slipknot, but on 7 strings. And just fucking, just non-stop, just in your face, just
Does it lean into
aggression.
your genty love?
It's not that genty.
Is
It's
it
just
not?
more just pure, just riffing aggression.
Aggressive Riffage. Great band name.
Aggressive riffage.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much every big name on the Thursday that...
Well, one of the bands that I have never heard of, which I like the sound of, you can see here.
What, Prince Daddy and the Hyena?
Yeah, you ever heard them?
I've never heard of Prince Daddy and the Hyena. What
But
stage are they
It
on?
makes me curious, just from the name alone.
Yeah. Prince Daddy and the Hyena on the Axiom stage at 2:30 on the Thursday of 2000 Trees, my friends.
Prince
in case
Daddy.
you're curious.
It's not just my nickname, but it's also a band. Moving on.
Oh yeah, well, just before we move on, actually, you were right that the main stage on the Thursday goes Wonder Years, Skindred, then Soft Play.
That is a good main stage lineup.
That's a good 3-band run. Also, there's another phenomenal band name, Gaffer Tape Sandy. They're one of the first bands on the main stage.
Sounds like a company.
It sounds like a threat.
It sounds like a nickname for like some bloke down the pub.
have you seen Gaffer Tape Sandy?
Well, speaking of
Well,
guests,
speaking of guests, indeed, my friends, it is time to introduce you to one of the co-founders of 2000 Trees Festival, a man who is probably joining us after a very long, hard day's work building everything that we're going to be experiencing next week, and show a lot of love and appreciation for James Scarlett!
Hey man, how you doing?
Oh,
hey James, how's it going?
good, my friend. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks.
Good. Whereabouts are you now in the world? It looks.
Well, I thought I am at 2000 Trees.
Oh,
So,
very nice.
We are building the festival, so I thought I could have done this from a really boring office, but I thought I could do it with the
live
view of the festival in the background instead.
That's amazing.
That is incredible.
I'll get more of it in the shot here.
So what is today? There we go. Look at that. That is a view and a half in the background.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh my days, James. Thank you.
You can see the marquee.
Oh yeah. Your cave stage, is it? Or the...
Yeah, that is the cave.
Is it?
That is awesome. So I mean, yeah, take us through today. What's today been like as someone setting up a festival? What challenges and tasks have you done since waking up this morning?
So we this week, the last like sort of 4 or 5 days is just all the big stuff. So it's the main stage, the marquees with like the other 3 stages, and it is like porta cabins for dressing rooms and like bar tents and stuff like that. So it's like big production coming in and getting set up, and yeah, we're in a good place. It's been a really good week actually. So yeah.
Hell yeah, and everything's going smoothly as well.
Yeah, super smooth. I don't want to get too cocky too early, but it's really going well. So yeah, we're happy.
I'm sure you're used to it, man. What number festival is this now? Because you've passed the 10 mark, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, COVID ruined all the counting, didn't it?
Yeah,
really,
it's hard to you have to
count anything now. We started in 2007, so yeah. I don't know. I think this is about 15, is it? 14.
14.
Yeah. It's a teenager now.
Yeah,
Your little baby. Well, this is sort of like your full-time job now, because I remember speaking to you briefly last year, and you saying like when you first started off, it was basically just you and your mates trying to figure out how to run a festival on the fly, and now you've built it into like your careers. Like, what's it like having it as a job?
Yeah, it's cool. You have to really like remind yourself every so often that this is actually really cool what's happened to us, because it wasn't like some like plan that we had. Oh, let's be festival organizers, or even like, you know, the fact that you guys would want to interview me about my festival. If you like in 2007, we had no one wanted to interview us, and you know, even in 2011, no one wanted to interview us. So it's like, it's kind of like weird that we're now here, and you often take it for granted rather than actually being like, wow, this is pretty cool that people know 2000 Trees and people love 2000 Trees. So yeah, it's a great job, but it's easy to forget that, I think.
Hell yeah, especially like when it's like a year-round focus, and like people just, you know, assume that like it's as simple as calling a couple of bands, saying, hey, do you want to come play, building a few stages, getting some food vans in, let's have a good time. There's way more logistics that go into putting a festival together. And I mean, like as you said, that team and that knowledge that you had in 2007 to where you are now as a festival, I mean, what are some of the biggest lessons that you think you've learned along the way in terms of being an independently run festival?
I think well, there's a few. I mean, like, you have to have your own like niche in the sort of festival world. So, you know, I think 2000 Trees sits somewhere between like Slam Dunk and Download, like musically. So there is very much like this band sounds like a band that would only play at 2000 Trees, and there's a bunch of those bands. So we've got our niche, so people know if they come to 2000 Trees. That doesn't mean we don't book Slam Dunk bands, or we don't book Download bands or whatever, but we've got our thing. And then the other thing is, it's a business, right? It costs like, you know, nearly £2 million a year to put on 2000 Trees. So you have to like run it like a business. And that would be the big thing is like, although we love it and it is like a passion project in some ways, you have to like be hard-nosed about how much your stage is costing, how much you're going to spend on bands a year, and you know, I don't know, everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of learning curves that we've gone through over the last 15 years.
Yeah, by the sounds of it. I mean, that's insane. I mean, that again is something that people don't realize is like, you know, people think that like people have all these sort of different financial incomes coming through it. And it's like year on year, it is the case that a festival has to make its money to then go and do the same thing again next year, but even bigger, hopefully. And
yeah.
And this learning, sorry, carry on.
Sorry. Basically every year like pays for the next year. So it's like, it really is it's a mad job where you have to like, every year has to be a good year. And we're just lucky that people love 2000 Trees. I think it's like, it wasn't massively, it's tempting to be like, oh, aren't we clever? We designed this thing, but actually, we were a bit lucky, and we kind of just fell into it. And I think the bands and the crowd like created this atmosphere, and the view you can see behind me, like the fact that it's so beautiful here, and the bands are nice, and the bands come and mingle with the crowd, and most of like 99% of our audience are awesome, is what creates the like 2000 Trees special atmosphere, I think.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. It's like we go to a lot of festivals, and there's just seems like there's something a bit different about Trees. We don't know whether it's just because of the environment, people just seem nicer, or everyone just seems a lot more happier when they're at Trees compared to other festivals. Do you ever feel that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think to a certain extent, smaller festivals are just like that, I think.
Yeah.
Because when you get people in a big crowd, they feel like, I was at Download the other day, and I had a brilliant time. But that like sort of herd mentality where there's like 300 people weeing against the fence.
Oh yeah.
It's like you don't really get that at 2000 Trees. And I think when you get big crowds, I'm not slagging off Download, but at any big festival, people just feel like they can behave however they want to behave. Whereas at 2000 Trees, it's just like super friendly.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And people respect the site as well. It's one of the cleanest festivals you go to. Like, you don't see litter scattered all over the floor. Like, people, if they like eat something or drink something, like 9 times out of 10, they're chucking it in the nearest bin as well.
You had that thing last year. I don't know if you've had it for a while, but it like gradually fills up with cans, and it's like a heart shape or something. I remember as you walk towards the main stage.
Yeah, that was amazing. Every can counts, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Because there's a few of us that run the festival, and I have no idea if that is coming back this year. I hope it is.
Yeah, because I thought it was great to see it like gradually go up over the weekend, and like it was pretty much full to the brim at the end.
Yeah, it was really cool. I like that.
It's like an art installation, like a living art installation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's talk about what we just touched on, which is like every year on year, like you're dissecting the festival, you're improving it, you're finding new things to explore, new ways to expand. And what has always been one of my favorite parts of 2000 Trees Festival is your forest stage. Like, I remember the first time I went down there and saw eyes on it, and the first band I saw perform on it, and like the environment, it's unlike anything else, as you mentioned, that you get at other festivals. And we were looking just then at the Thursday lineup. Music starts at 8 a.m. and finishes at 2 a.m. on that forest stage. Like, who is booking and running that stage, and are they okay?
Mate, the stage, I mean, I book it, but the stage manager hates me. They're like, are you kidding? We're there all day. There's like a crew of about 8 of them, and they're there the whole time. There's probably some laws against that, I guess.
Well, haven't you expanded the stage since previous years? Because it used to be just small enough to have like a couple of members on, but now it's like a full stage, isn't it?
Yeah. So basically, years ago, our mate Rich he's like really handy with like wood, and he built us a stage basically. But we didn't really think about what stage we wanted. He just built us a stage. So it was so small that we could only do acoustic stuff. And there's been some amazing over the years. We've had like Ralph from Enter Shikari, like Def Havana, Wonder Years, like loads and loads, 100 Reasons. Millions of like our big bands have played acoustic sets on there. But then the stage got like it was starting to rot, so it was literally going to fall apart.
Damn.
So we're like, okay, we'll start again. And last year we spent a bunch of money on making a proper stage out of wood, and I think it's really beautiful. And now we can still have that chilled acoustic, like relaxed vibe, but we can also have full on rock sets. So like on Wednesday, like the early entry night at Trees this year is Wednesday, and like we've got Bob Villain, Holding Absence, Tiger Cub, St. Agnes. Like, it's going to be mad in there.
Yeah,
like, there's going to be proper forest mosh pits. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Oh, I'm very, very excited. I mean, yeah, we're breaking down the 2000 Trees lineup today and previewing the bands that we like would recommend people going to check out. And the song we had on the show recently, Mimi Barks, like we caught it at Mimi over Download Festival. I was like, oh, what time's Mimi on? And had a look, and it's like 10:45 till like 11:30, and I was like, oh my god, that is gonna kick off at the Forest.
Yeah. So we've really tried to like book some, like this kind of like the sort of new alternative bands that are like connected to the rock scene, but is not really traditional rock music, like Mimi Barks. and there's loads of them playing at Trees this year, like Cody Frost and
Yep.
LostAlone, and like tons of them. And like in the evening, it's going to be a bit more of a party in there, I think, and like just like um some different stuff that is not the same as what you can see elsewhere at 2000 Trees. That's the idea. So in the daytime, you got like some acoustic, nice chilled music, and then the party kind of starts later on. And yeah, in the evening, it's exciting. We've also got this. I'm calling it like the Forest headline slot, although it's not the last band at 2 a.m. It's the band that plays just before the main stage headliner. So on Thursday, it's Bat Sabbath, which is Cancer Bats playing Black Sabbath. And then a band called The Stat on Friday, and then Jamie Lenman on Saturday. So I'm like, this is going to be amazing. I'm excited for that.
That is 2000 Trees through and through, like bookings like that. Just like what I've always loved about 2000 Trees, and like we've been covering this festival for years, and like we've interviewed so many bands who've come through 2000 Trees ranks, and one common theme amongst bands is they all seem to say like this is the musicians festival. Like musicians who play this festival respect every other musician that they're sharing the stage with, and it's like it's such a showcase of talent. And I mean, like hearing you talk then about like, you know, the focus on the diversity of artists that you're booking in terms of like, you know, their sonical output, you're not your standard alternative bands. Is that what your year when you're not building stages and trying to figure out if they're rotting or not is like is consumed by, is like digesting what's going on, experiencing new bands? Like do you get a chance to like check them out live as well before booking them?
Yeah. So I live in Bristol, so it's pretty like you see most bands on tour come through Bristol, and like the reason I got into this really is because I'm like obsessed with music. I like, you know, at the end of the year when there's like the Spotify stats,
Yeah.
I'm always like okay, I won the Spotify competition. Basically, I am obsessed with music, and I listen to music constantly.
Same.
And yeah, and like, you know, like let's face it, it was 15 years ago, so I'm 15 years older now. So a lot of the 2000 Trees audience is younger than me. So it's like a real like a task to really like keep up to date with what like young people like, because that is really what keeps festivals exciting, is like people that are like 22 or 18 or whatever, you know. It's like that's what's exciting. So yeah, I love doing that, and I love checking out where the genre, like rock music kind of comes around in waves, but there's always like new stuff happening, I think. So
Well, you've always been good at getting bands before they blow up, because I think Boston Manor, I think Mike was saying it's the first festival they ever played. Creeper, you got them really early on. Is there any other bands that come to mind that you got early doors?
Yeah, I mean we had like we paid Idols 100 quid in 2015, and I can't tell you what I paid last year, but it was more than that. And you know, like Nothing But Thieves we had for 250 quid, and Slaves, when they were called Slaves, we had for 250 quid.
Yeah.
It's like Creeper is the same. Like bands playing like Third On in the Cave, and then now like, well, I mean, like some of these bands are like,
Haven't Nothing But Thieves done Wembley or O2 or something? Yeah,
the O2. They sold out the O2, like 20,000 people. So like, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to take any credit for these bands' success,
but
it's
at the
cool
same time,
cool that you can see them first. The exciting thing, I think, is that the fans can come along this year and be like, well, who's the next big bands that we've never heard of that are playing Third On in the Cave or Third On in the Axiom or whatever, or they're opening the main stage, because there's going to be some like buried treasure out there.
Well, you've had Turnstile on a few years in a row, and they gradually went from stage to stage, and then obviously last year they blew up, so main stage.
Yeah. Apart from, if you forget that the pandemic happened, they played Trees 3 years running.
Damn.
And then it just, and like the third year, it's just like, whoa, okay, they're big now.
That's so awesome. And I mean, like, I think it's a great representation, like, of your festival, the way in which you have such a finger on the pulse of finding these artists and giving them these stages and giving them these platforms to actually, go out and play to a crowd. Because I feel like, going to a festival like 2000 Trees for a young up and coming artist and getting to play to a couple of thousand people puts a spring in their step, and all of a sudden they get this newfound sense of confidence. It's like, okay, cool, there are people out there who believe in me doing this shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a really important progression for. I think it's good for other bigger festivals like Download. It's like that bands are learning.
Yeah.
Their thing. They're learning their trade. Like playing live is no one's the best live band in the world on gig one. I don't think.
No, not in the slightest. No, you ask any band, they find their feet on the road, and it's especially with a festival like 2000 Trees having such a diverse lineup where, as you said, you can go and watch something more traditional rock, like your Skindreds or something like that. But then there's an artist your Mimi Barks, who's got more of a sort of trap rap influence, who's bringing a very different kind of sound. I mean, out of this year's lineup, are there some? You mentioned then some hidden treasures. Are there a couple on there that you've booked, knowing full well you're I can't wait for people to see or experience this band?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, there's a band called Bad Nerves. I don't know if you know those guys, and there's a band called Noisy. I feel like they're both about to properly blow up. But there's a few that are like Harriet are on the cusp of something really exciting, I think. But yeah, I mean, I could literally just.
Yes.
List bands
someone
all day.
Someone in the chat said Harriet were on early last year on the Cave, and this year they're on the main stage, I believe. So it's
good. I mean, when we booked Bullet for My Valentine is a slightly left field choice for Trees, I think. And when we booked them, I was like, okay, we've got to put some heavy stuff on the main stage with them to make it work. And I'm like, well, Harriet are they're just really great and hot, and they deserve it, and they're really. I always like it. I mean, here's a secret: bands aren't always nice, but sometimes they're super nice.
Yeah.
And Harriet are super nice.
Yes.
So it's bands are nice. You're I just want to help you out, and
shout out to Debs as well. Putting Birmingham on the map. I've known Debs for a good couple of years, just being from the Birmingham music scene. I've watched Debs working in guitar shops, doing everything to hone her craft to get to a stage where she's a fucking rock star up there. You watch Harriet live and you're holy shit, where are all of these sounds coming from this really innocent looking person?
Absolutely, she's amazing, and super nice. So I like, one of my favorite things about my job is that I can you can put bands wherever you want, basically. So if you want to go, okay, they're just going to play the main stage, and some people are going to be hugely confused by that, because it's heavy to be, if it's sunny and outdoors. It's heavy,
I can't wait for that.
I like it when that happens. I remember when Architects on Parkway Drive played the main stage at Reading, and a lot of people were like, what the fuck is this? Just in between some rap artists or something. But I mean,
we had in the past, we've had Funeral for a Friend and Rolo Tomasi on the main stage, and I remember there was a bit of the people that are just the casual 2000 Trees fans are a bit whoa, shouldn't this be in the Cave? But I like that. I like the fact that you can put those bands. We're not a heavy festival.
Yeah.
It's a rock festival, but it's not Bloodstock or Download or whatever. So sometimes it's a bit it's a lot for people to have that heavy stuff. But Bullet for My Valentine, a headline on the main stage. So
hell yeah.
We went to see Bullet on the last headline run, and it was incredible.
Earlier on this year. Yeah.
And you forget how many big songs they have. They're definitely worthy of headlining, I think.
Yeah, they've got the tunes, and I saw them quite a few years ago, second from the top of Download. So they've done much bigger stages than 2000 Trees over the years. So yeah.
Hell yeah. And I mean, speaking of headliners, with a festival like 2000 Trees, how early do you think ahead to the future, with festival headliners? Is it the case that once your lineup is solidified for 1 year, then you start just keeping an eye or looking out to see who could be slotted in for the following year?
Yeah, it's about 18 months in advance. So I've got a bunch of offers out there now for next year.
That's exciting.
And it's but you start, you start with a list of bands that are probably going to be hard to get. I don't go for the really unrealistic targets, but the like targets that are hard but possible, I go for. And there's a few bands that I offer for every single year.
Okay.
And they've never quite happened, and the agent's always like, yeah, we'd like to do it, but it's just not quite working out. So yeah, I'm hopeful of these amazing. I'm currently at the like hopeful stage where I'm like, yeah, that amazing booking could still happen. You like every festival, it doesn't matter who it is, how big the festival is, could be Reading, Glastonbury. You've got a list of targets and you work your way down. Sometimes you get your first choices. Like, you know, when we had Enter Shikari in, I can't remember what year it was.
Was that the Quadraphonic Sound year?
Yeah, it's maybe 2018, something like that. I can't quite remember what year it was. But they were in my top 3 headliner choices, and like it came off. And you know, some years you're a bit like, okay, we've got to be a bit more creative this year because the classic Trees bands aren't quite available. So yeah, I'm excited for next year. I'm hopeful that Simon Neil comes to 2000 Trees with, you know, he's got his new band Empire State Band.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he realizes it's Biffy's it's Biffy's natural home. They've just never been here. And then he's like, okay.
It is such a Biffy Clyro festival. That.
Oh my God.
It is, right? I told Biffy Clyro's booking agent, mate, this is the festival they should play, but they're too big for us. So there's got to be a way of like. So if Simon loves it, then maybe.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a shout. Like, yeah, Biffy Clyro fans would be all over a set from them at 2000 Trees Festival. What a fit. I mean, yeah, like I've been thinking, like, you know, like if Trees was to like, you know, go for like you know, one of the biggest headliners of all time in Trees history, if they ever did play, would be someone like Deftones. But I could 100% see a Deftones like going to perform at 2000 Trees Festival, like in terms of like the fit of sound as well.
Yeah, I mean, like Deftones, Faith No More is another one. I mean, I think Deftones would be like pretty much my number one if I could get any band booking, because I'm personally like, you know, a massive fan. But they're not. We've had conversations and it's like it's expensive.
Yeah. Chino ain't
like
cheap.
more than we can afford.
Well, I know one of your highlights was getting at the drive-in. How was that when you finally booked them in? Because when they were your favorite bands growing up.
I mean, this is like it's a mad thing about my job. Like I was chatting, so they're one of my favorite bands, and the Mars Volta, their other band, are my actual favorite band. And I was just chatting to Cedric, like the lead singer, like we were peers. And I find that, I don't know, you guys probably have this sometimes doing your job. Like we are chatting like actual peers, but in my brain, I'm like, oh my God, it's Cedric from the Mars Volta and At the Drive-In. And I'm not embarrassed to be like, I don't think you should be embarrassed to be like a little bit feeling a bit fanboy about it, because it's just exciting. And I was like, again, I'm not embarrassed. I was up on stage taking photos of Omar's guitar before he was even there.
Sick.
The guitar was there, and I'm like, oh my God, his guitar is there. And I realize how geeky that sounds, but I'm just so excited to have that. Is, you know, that's a real career highlight for me, having At the Drive-In. So, yeah.
What a story, James. That is so awesome. And like, yeah, as you touched on just then, that there's nothing wrong with, you know, being in the presence of someone that you idolize or that you look up to, and taking that moment to sink in and just being like, hey, I fucking respect the hell out of you.
Yeah. And it's like, and like, unless it's like Axl Rose or Elton John, everyone's like a human.
Yeah.
Like, they're not like, rock stars don't actually exist. They're just normal people. There are a few. I'm sure.
There's a couple of robots.
Because I usually try and keep it cool, but I think the first time it happened was with Dallas Green from Lex on Fire. I proper fanboyed. I was like, oh my God, nice to meet you. I love everything you've ever done.
And I also think that most people want to be told. It is nice to hear that you're great and what you did was great. I mean, obviously, if you're really famous, that must be like very annoying. But if you're Dallas Green, I think he probably loves being told how great his music is. I'd imagine. You've got
at a certain point, you've got to know. It's like, yeah, I am that sick. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I am James.
Yeah. Well, James, we don't want to burn too much more of your daylight whilst you've obviously got quite a bit to get on with like later on this evening. But before we get out of here, one last thing that I did want to ask you is that if there was anything that you could like say to the people attending 2000 Trees this year, like a last minute message, like a week before the festival, if there's anything that you want to say or pass on, the floor is yours, my friend.
I mean, look, we genuinely love our festival and we love the people who come. So, as cheesy as that may sound, like thanks for buying tickets to our festival and giving me like the best job in the world. And like, if you see us around the festival, come and say hi, have a beer. I am a punter at my own festival. I'm stood out the front watching bands all day long, and having a beer. So, yeah, thanks for coming, and yeah, roll on next week. It's going to be good.
Hell yeah. Well, you have earned yourself many a cold one, my friend. We look forward to seeing you at 2000 Trees Festival 2023 next weekend, my friend. Show some love and appreciation to James Scarlett.
Cheers, James.
Thank you, man.
Thanks so much, guys.
No worries.
Take it easy.
Take care, man. See you next weekend.
See you later.
That was James, live from 2000 Trees.
Live from 2000 Trees Festival. My friends, interviews don't get any more live than that.
I was surprised the
Wi-Fi
was holding that.
Yeah. As soon as I saw the background, I was like, how's he got that much signal?
Yeah. In the middle of the Cotswolds. Usually you get nothing down there.
Oh, well.
I guess he was like right at the top. So
yeah, my friends, the reason why James was joining us is because 2000 Trees Festival is next weekend, and we are giving away tickets to 2000 Trees Festival on the show. A pair of tickets to 2000 Trees 2023 next weekend could be yours for the sake of a screenshot and an Instagram story. All you got to do is go to the Jon Mahon Show YouTube channel, subscribe, take a screenshot, and then post it on your Instagram story, tagging at 2000trees_festival and at Jon Mahon Show. And it's that easy.
It's that easy. And you could be in the Cotswolds, the rolling hills of Cheltenham.
Yep.
Soaking up the sun and some mosh pits. I don't know.
Sun and mosh pits.
I was trying to think of something. I was trying to alliterate.
What else?
Sun and
the scenery.
Six sounds.
Sun and the six sounds.
Six sounds. Of
The sun and some sonical, soothing sounds.
Anyway, should we take a quick break?
Yeah, my friends, we're going to take a quick break. Joining us in quite literally about 15 minutes' time is Steven Battelle from LostAlone ahead of their band's performance at 2000 Trees next weekend.
Hell yeah. And in the meantime, we'll leave you with a little teaser for Trees.
Yeah.
Treaser in the form of a documentary I made last year at the site. So we'll see you in about 15 minutes or about 10 minutes. Bye.
China has identified the cause of the mysterious new virus.
Coronavirus.
Many of our countries in Europe are now acting to flatten
the
the
curve
epidemic.
used when talking about reducing the number of coronavirus cases.
This is going to get worse before it gets better.
You must stay at home.
I feel like we learnt a whole new job of like, how do you cancel a festival, or how do you postpone a festival? How do you roll bands to another year? How do you communicate with your audience in a different way? In 2020 and 2021, it was like completely different conversation going on about please don't ask for refunds, help us out. We did a crowdfunder. It's all like new stuff to us. My fear was that you'd set up all this stuff and then there'd be a change in the rules and then you suddenly can't go ahead and you've spent the money and then you're in trouble, then you're going bust. So we couldn't risk it basically, and it was the same in 2021.
More than 2 billion COVID-19 vaccines administered worldwide.
Halfway vaccinated.
I'm getting the Moderna.
AstraZeneca shot.
J&J vaccine.
As millions get vaccinated, many reunions are happening around the country.
We've all been through something collectively.
It's been such a difficult time.
This is phase 2 of the government research programme, and the results that come back as part of this are hopefully then the unlocking for the summer music festival events to take place.
We sat on our laptops for 3 years now, and now we're in the field. So yeah, it feels great.
Trees is probably my favourite festival in the UK. I think for me and the way I listen to music and the way I enjoy festivals, it's not too big, but it's not too small. I think it sits perfectly in that space.
There's no divide, eh?
No, there isn't a divide. I don't think it's not cliquey. I feel like everyone's there for the one fucking reason, and it's just to enjoy new music and bands that they already know.
Yeah.
It's a really nice amalgamation of that, I think.
They always have a killer lineup. Everyone's always here for the music, and you know, you walk around and I feel like everyone's so like-minded here. Very chill vibes.
It's great to see so many like-minded people together. There's loads of mates to hang out with, and it's just good vibes. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always blown away by just how diverse the genres are. Like Trees, you can't put a genre on it, and every band is just wicked. So literally, what we'll do after this is get some more beers and just walk around and watch every band. So
I like this festival because it's small and easy to get around. It seems to be a really nice community of people as well.
It's such a nice vibe, and
yeah,
there's peaceful places as well, and I love the forest.
It's big enough to book incredible artists, but it's still very personable and feels very intimate, and the people that come genuinely love music.
When we drove in, pulled in and everyone stopped to go to it, it's on one side there was something that sounded acoustic and on the other side it sounded black metal. I was like, this is pretty cool. You know, it's that'll do.
Doing something like this, keeping it community based, get involved with the TPD lot and the Thrill Collins and the staple diets you have specifically for this festival. It's very, very cool. I think it's a wonderful little special thing, and I think we need something like this.
So much more of a great atmosphere than a lot of the bigger ones that I've been to. As a punter or as an artist, I think it's such a community spirit. And it's just really great place to be.
I used to really love the lineups at Reading and Download and all those big rock festivals, but I didn't really the vibe wasn't there. So we wanted to create a nice boutique festival vibe, but with good bands. So yeah, in 2007 we didn't know anything about running festivals. We just went for it, and here we are 15 years later, and it was like a hobby, and now it's our job. So it's a weird thing.
When festivals such as Reading and Leeds are kind of diluting the different sounds that they're bringing to a festival, the fact that there's an amazing sort of rock, punk and metal festival here in the UK that's purely focused on that means that the community spirit's fucking awesome, so yeah.
It's a perfect size, as a punter, we've always kind of stayed and watched bands and stuff. And it's a really cool mix of new bands maybe we haven't heard of, or maybe a punter hasn't heard of. And then they always have one or two legendary acts coming back, or big new bands.
we saw Refused at the drive-in, Turnstile the last time we were here.
Yeah.
Thrice, I guess, are playing this year. Yeah, it's always...
It's wicked, man.
At the drive-in played here, one of my favourite ever bands. So that's just I was up on stage taking photos of Omar's guitar just before they started. That's how much of a fan I am. He wasn't even there. It's just his guitar's on the stand. And Shikari headlining the main stage is incredible. This weekend, I thought Palm Reader on Wednesday were amazing. And Pigs last night was also just insane.
The Forest stage, that little stage where, what's that? Is it Thrill Collins play there every single year, and they play the skiffle versions of those pop songs? I love that. I love that shit.
thrice playing Vizu in full. I don't think any other festival could pull that off other than Trees. So yeah, it's very much my kind of festival.
If you look at the bands we've had over the years, like Creeper and like Black Peaks and even Turnstile have played 2000 Trees 3 years running, like slowly getting bigger. I think it's really important, and then they'll go on to play Reading and Hellfest and whatever else.
2000 Trees actually was the first festival that we ever played as a band, and it was actually the first time I ever went to a festival. So it was awesome to, I guess, like marry those two experiences together.
This is the fourth time that we played it, and we've always had a blast. I think we first played it when we were about mid-20s, and now we're old as fuck, man. We're like early 30s.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it doesn't depress me being back here. I feel really happy to be back here. It's a great place.
I've been coming to this festival for, I'm not joking, like 11 years or something.
Yes, my friends, and welcome back to the Jon Mahon Show, hour 2 of our 2000 Trees
That wasn't
preview.
my smoothest transition then, was it? I think I pressed the button a bit too early.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Was I just... Or, as Dr. Scott very rightly pulled us up on, our 2000 Treeser.
Yeah, maybe I love a pun.
Yeah, we do. My friends...
Some say it's the lowest form of comedy. But I say it's sarcasm and puns are the best.
Yeah, they are.
And speaking of,
trying to transition.
I'm trying to transition to our guest that we've got coming on right now.
Literally right now. So, my friends, not only our 2000 Trees Festival next year hosting LostAlone, but as of midnight this evening, we get a brand new LostAlone song called "The Final Call for Forever." And joining us on the show right now to talk all about it is Steven Battelle.
Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going?
All the better for seeing you, bro. How are you?
I just had a mild audio disaster, and I've done so much stuff in the last second to make sure you can hear me. It's unbelievable, but it's all good now.
It's happened to us live before, so
you sound beautiful.
Is it crystal clear?
Crystal clear,
good.
Crisp AF.
I've got like a whole studio set up there, and I had everything. Now I'm just on AirPods. Okay. So it's like
the thing is, it took me about 3 weeks to figure out how to set all this stuff up. So it's not.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not the greatest start to our chat, but just on that point, it is like when you've got a load of good gear, they seem to make it harder for you to use it.
Yeah,
because they want you to use their thing. So
yes.
Yeah, I just had a mild. Yeah. Anyway. Great to be here.
We made it.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Bro, as I said on Twitter, man, we haven't caught up in so long. It is so good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. I can imagine the place it was. It was a backstage somewhere.
Yep.
In like a kind of weird tent type thing, and we had a chat. It must have been a festival.
Yeah.
But I remember it because it was really good fun.
But it is not only so good to have you on our brand new show, but it's so good to have you back making music as well, doing what you do best. And it was a long break LostAlone went on. If you want to talk us through the process, I mean, where did the decision come to hit pause, and then when was the right time to come back?
Yeah, it was in brief, like we released 3 records, like all quite randomly different things. One was like mainly we were kind of doing really well in Europe, mainland Europe. Second one we signed to Warner Brothers in America, and like they kind of ruined Europe for us by going, hey, we're in America. It was like silly mistakes. And then our 3rd record, it got like so much acclaim, and the label we were on just went, yeah, cool. But just we did nothing. It was like very frustrating. So we wanted to get out of the deal. So it's a tight, that happened to a lot of bands, but we were like, we just got like full marks for everything here. We'd try to do stuff, and we had like Radio 1 playlist, and the label just reply was cool. What? We were like, where's the mechanics around the label to go, hey, we should like do some stuff to like push this. Anyway, so it's a bit depressing. So we kind of decided to like just take a hiatus. And I just like decided the next day, like, well, I'm obviously a songwriter, so that's what I'm doing. And it proved like a bit more difficult. It's taken a while to kind of start doing good in that. But we've been friends, we're best mates, we spoke every day. And then I went to Nashville a few times, LA, like loads of like songwriting things. And then I won a cruise to New York on the QM2. And it's like old school, like you walk on, there's like string quartet. I was like the youngest person there because it was like seriously like, I don't want to say people were going there to like pass away, but there was a lot of people.
It was a last holiday.
Yeah, what it was there's some lovely
coming
people
back.
there, but they were just cruising, like that's what they did.
Yeah.
But what was cool about it, and I'll get to the point, just feel free to edit me live if you just shut up.
We love a ramble. We love a ramble, bro. So go for it.
Effectively, what happened was it sounds quite magical, but I like magic. But because they were all so old, and if any of them happened to be watching, that's not an offensive. They just were old, like physically old. What happened was at night, I just had like the top deck of like a cruise ship to myself to just walk around, and it was unbelievable. So in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, just looking up at the stars, and I just started hearing LostAlone music because I kind of put a tap. Like I've been writing for the people in a couple of solo albums. I was like, oh, I've got to do this again. And I liken it to like when you're on a plane, like everything seems possible when you're above the clouds. You have all these grand ideas and you land and you're like, well, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like but that cruise, it was 7 days of it. So it really embedded itself deep that like, I can do this. So when I got to New York, I messaged the guys and were like, I've wrote a load of new songs like in my free stateroom with my full recording rig like on a balcony overlooking the ocean. Should we just like see what happens? And they were like, yeah, awesome. And then like 2 days later, Ray and Gerard from My Chem called me up and were like, do you solo want to support us at these stadium shows? And I was like, no, but could LostAlone? And they were like, yes, because they're like into the band. And then that's like November 19, and then pandemic hit.
Of course.
And we had to keep it secret for 2 years. And we didn't tell anyone the band was back together. In that time, we made a record. So I moved out to London to take songwriting a lot more seriously. Handily moved from Derby to London like a week before lockdown, and then sat in this room for 2 years. But what was cool was I just made the record. And we made a record that came out last year, and that's kind of in a nutshell what happened.
Oh my God.
Sounds a bit crazy when I say it out loud.
Bro,
yeah.
What a story. I mean, it is a crazy story. I mean, it is like the typical story of like, you know, the music finds you in whatever way. Like it's going to reignite that fire. And as you said, it came to you in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, what a place for creativity to relight itself inside.
Yeah, man, it was definitely like, I mean, I did never want the band to stop. Like it's everything to me. And as soon as we made that announcement that we're back and I became Steven from LostAlone again, I hadn't realized how much of like me was missing. I suddenly felt like that's me again. I'm back.
I guess
I just love it.
It's like it's like being part of a team, isn't it? I guess when you're on your own, it's sort of, all you have is yourself to rely on. And when you've got your bandmates, it's like, oh,
yeah,
I'm struggling,
completely, man. It was that, and it was like really honestly, it was like doing a lot of the songwriting sessions where I co-write for other people now is like my kind of day job, if you could call it a job, because it's just fun. But I still felt like I was in this band and I wanted to tell people, but then they were like, oh, what are you up to? I was like, oh, well, we did this in 2015. And it's like, it's not like relevant. Some of the people I'm like, we're playing at Trees actually, like Lozique, and I wrote this band called Bex yesterday, a girl who's awesome, wrote a wicked song. But yeah, they're all like, it's mad that they were probably like, 11 when the third LostAlone. It's weird. It makes me feel like old. But so now it feels cool because like my band's back together, and like you just mentioned, as soon as we got back together, it was like, cool, we've done an album. But like, if it wasn't for economics, I could release an album a month. Like, I can't not. I write like tonight after this, I'll do LostAlone all night, and then tomorrow I'm in a writing session with No Offense. So like, it's just LostAlone at night, and then writing for the people in the day, and that's all I do really.
I guess it's all the label logistics and all that when stuff has to be released. It must be so annoying just sitting on an album for like 6 months or whatever when you're like, can't we just get it out right now?
Yeah, I think even you guys are into loads of people. I reckon that's probably the one thing about doing music that artists wish is. I hope that. I mean, I'm not really sure what I think about AI, but I have always, for about 10 years, said the best way I'd like to be able to communicate my songs is like if it could just go from my brain into like the person who likes my band's brain, and they hear it like it's just like, oh, do you want to hear the new song? It's in your brain.
Bang.
Because even to me, I don't use instruments to write. Like I just write in my head, and then if I think it's good enough, I go to my guitar or whatever, lyrics and everything like that. And no matter how much I love the records we made, they're not quite the same as I heard them in my head, because you can't quite achieve that exact same thing. But I'm still going to listen, everybody. But but if you want to really know, then you've got to like lobotomize my.
You need a direct link to your neural.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
Elon Musk might be getting Neuralink quicker than we're ready for, but as and when it is, I'm sure musicians will be jumping all over it.
Subscribe to my Neuralink.
Yeah, subscribe to my Neuralink.
It's like a Black Mirror episode.
That is, we should pitch that to Charlie Brooker, because that would be a great Black Mirror.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the comeback and the first record post hiatus. You only put out the one music video from it. I'm not sure whether there was other singles, but I mean, let's talk about Enduring the Dream. Like, even if that was the only single from the record, the song title alone kind of encapsulates everything that you've told story-wise just then in the lead up to that. But then combining the story that you've just told with the music video that visualizes that song, which I'm assuming was filmed on the My Chemical Romance run.
Yeah.
I mean,
we weren't pretending that was our stadium headline.
No, but but still, bro. Like, oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I don't know if you know this. It's a Guns N' Roses tactic from Paradise City, I think, where
they played that stadium, didn't they?
And they used the footage. I mean, they really made it look like it was their show, whereas we were just like, everyone knew we were not a stadium band, you know. So like, but so that's that song in particular, "Enjoying the Dream." There's a lyric in the song, "Ambition's an affliction, every moment is a mission," and that sums up my life. Like, I don't envy people who do like a day job. All my friends, but I can't not do this. And like, the ambition is an affliction. Every moment's a mission. And that doesn't mean I'm like trying to like. I just feel I can't not do this. And the mental toll that can take over. Like, I've been doing this since I was 11. Me and Mark, my drummer, formed. We very Spinal Tap, but we must have had like 20,000 bands between 11 and 20 when we did LostAlone. But and we're still together now. Like, and what's my point? Yeah, to me, it is a thing that like, it's not like I could just go, and I have, and there's no offense to this at all, but over my time, I play with bands where instantly I can go, well, this isn't, you don't need to do this. You're cool, but you, I'm sure you guys, have met it, and they're totally cool people. But like, for me, there's no part of like success or not success or anything. This is what I have to do, and I find, and somehow like there's a kind of weird way that I seem to manifest. Like, I seem to just say things in my head and then they end up somehow like, because I meant to say earlier, before Gerard and Ray called me, I thought to myself, I reckon my Chemical will come back and I reckon they'll ask us to do stuff. I mean, I honestly, I've always done that. And I often think to myself, like, so I'm just going off on another one now, just feel free to stop me. But like, because I only ever talk about this stuff when I do cool interviews like this, but like, I sometimes think like, how is it that like, I don't know if you know all this, but like the way I'm sat here now is my band formed LostAlone, and we played on the side stage at Taste of Chaos in Manchester. There's a festival called Taste of Chaos, right? And it was
what
Green
year was
Gaffer.
that?
Huh?
What year was that? Because I was at one of those.
I don't know the year, but I know that Under Oath, Taking Back Sunday, Alexis
I
Fire.
I was at that show.
God,
yeah, I was at that
awesome.
show. 2005 or 6,
maybe six.
Yeah.
6. So this is what happened, right? So we were in a green gafford area on the side, while Alexis on Fire crew are line checking. So I could hear them line checking while we're playing. So we're like going for it, really new band, so excited, like probably one of the biggest crowds we've played to, like Manchester Apollo, which I was at the other day for Mars Volta, but I digress. And I looked round and I was like, Take Back Sunday are watching us and Under Oath are watching us. And I thought in my head, that's so cool that like the bands watch other bands. What I didn't realise is they come down because they, heard how incredible we were. Just joking, honestly. But and then what happened was, so at the end of the show, the Take It Back Sunday guys asked if we could be added to more shows, and we were like, amazing. And then at the end of the run, Take It Back Sunday's front of house asked for a CD, and their guitar tech asked for a CD. And the front of house became Paramore's front of house on the next tour, and the guitar tech became second in command under Brian Schechter of Mike Hem. And within 2 weeks of that, Gerard Way called me and said, your album's like my favourite thing I've ever heard. And then invited me to the Black Parade tour in Nottingham, went and met him, all cool. Everyone's joking around about like, Gerard does not stop listening to your record. I'm just going, I've just watched like the Black Parade. It was awesome. And then that was it then. We said, let's keep in touch. And then Hayley got in touch and we did the Riot release shows. And then we did 3 tours of Paramore. And everyone thought we were buying onto tours. I mean, literally, we had no money. And we were borrowing money off my mum. I think my mum took out a credit card for one of the tours we did.
God.
But and then the last part of that funny story is that the same week Gerard had got in touch, I got a call from his assistant or whoever it was from a hotel like 3 days later going, what are you doing on Sunday? And I was like, oh, just rehearsing. He's like, cool. Thursday I've just been dropped and I've got to fly back to America. Can you come to Dublin and join the Black Parade tour? And I was like, yeah.
Let me think about that for a second. Yep.
Yeah. But then I said, I don't know if we could afford it. And they were like, how much you need? And I just went, £1,000. Like, I didn't know what to say. Anyway, cool. So give us bank details. And that started a huge relationship with the Mike M guys, which is still like, I've been out there, wrote stuff out there with them. Not for Mike M, I'll be clear to say that. But I wrote with the guys, with Ray. And we just become friends because it's, obviously, there's a big disparity in success, but in terms of where we come from and what we like and our attitude to everything, it is very similar. And my point that I was actually going to make ages ago before this was, I find it so odd that, like, I remember watching and saw Helena on Scuzz, and I sat there and I thought, and I used to go to this club called the Blue Note. I never used to drink. I used to stand on my own. This was before the band did anything. I used to watch the dance floor. And when a song came on that I loved, like Helena, I then would get this adrenaline rush and I would run 3 miles home to a parent's house and just dream things on the way. And one of the things I always think is, how many other people were watching that Helena video and going, I've got a connection with them. I reckon that we'll do stuff. But I thought it. And then I've got Gerard writing a 2-page thing in NME saying that my band saved his life. And there's this connection. I know every word, like, and I sometimes wonder, like, and I'm not just saying that as like a name drop about Mike M, but a lot of things that happen, like in my band things, where I sometimes wonder, like, I don't understand how these weird, because the amount of other people I think would have thought that same thing, and for me, like, it just was manifestedly, and somehow there was a connection, and we genuinely felt like there's a connection, and we just, it's like what, like 15 years later, and they asked us to do stadium shows and we'd talk, and you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just super cool. Anyway, I don't know what the question was.
Bro,
but
I think there is. I mean, I don't understand it, but there's obviously there is something in, like, if you manifest. Oh, manifestation is like a weird sort of word that people have taken over recently. But I feel like if you will something enough, then things can happen if you believe it enough in yourself and you try hard enough.
Hell yeah.
And things will happen.
I think it's about listening to your inner monologue as well. Like, you strike me as someone telling that story just then. He's always been very in touch with themselves and very in touch with where your purpose on this planet lies. And hearing you have such an affinity with, like a My Chem song that you saw on Scuzz, and then, that kicking you off to running home, like being the energy kicking off to you running home.
Yeah.
It's like you hear people still tell stories like that, and you can tell that within the essence of their energy, it's something they were put on this planet to fucking do. And it's like, you don't have that wave of emotion come over you from music unless you have an affinity with this thing that humanity has created, and it's something that you are destined to then be within yourself. And like, hearing you talk just then about like the connection that you formed with the band that you were listening to in that circumstances, it sounds like the universe always had this in mind for you, which is so awesome to see, because hearing you tell these stories about, you know, this crazy storied career that you've had will then only go on to inspire other people. I mean, you just mentioned that you're working with artists like Noah Finch and like Bex as well. It's like, you know, having someone like you who has lived this life and paved this path and goes, anything is possible as long as you're crazy enough to fucking go after it.
I think that's the key there. It's about like, it's the crazy element. Yeah. I think maybe other people go, nah. I thought that, but what? As if, but like, yeah, I definitely always been driven. That's fact. Like I've always been like, well, obviously we're gonna play Reading. You know, like, well, that's just what you do. Like, yeah, and I think what I do think about a lot now is like all that one moment at Taste of Chaos is the reason we're talking. Like, it did take that. That's why. I mean, maybe there was other routes to stuff, but like. These things, I think the point I was trying to make is these things keep happening to me. Like, I just co-wrote the new McFly record. I spent 2 years like
what?
So I don't know if you knew that or not. No! But I 2 years ago, literally, Jason Perry. Do you know him?
Yeah,
producer
from
Ace Band A. Yeah, I got a message. We never worked together, but he once heard a LostAlone song on Radio 1 and just tweeted me and went, dude, this is awesome. Because I'd harmonised the T-Rex from Jurassic Park with the lead Orakai in Lord of the Rings 2 Towers in D minor. That's how it started the song. And Jason was like, this is awesome.
Bro, hold on. Before you glazed over that sentence, like so nonchalantly, as if that was something that people do in day-to-day life.
Oh, yeah, I just sampled the...
Yes, that's obviously there's something wrong with me, but yeah, that happened. That's on a strange song called Doomageddon, Global Metafictional something. I can't remember my own song title. It's so long, but anyway, it was a weird one. Anyway, Jason, we just become friends, and I did a couple of because he produces now, like Don Broco, and he's been McFly's producer for the last few albums. He messaged me 2 years ago, going, dude, can you send some riffs over down McFly studio? So I wrote a couple of songs thinking like, because I come from a heavy world, like, you know, I love heavy music, but I also love all music. Like, I love musicals as well. I'm a big musical fan. But anyway, so I wrote a couple of songs thinking this is McFly. I'm not one of the people that they were a band that got me into guitars. You know,
yeah,
Queen got me into guitars. Like, but listen to Queen, but wasn't playing Queen. That's where I'm from. But so I was like, cool. And I sent these songs. Like, these are wicked songs, but no, they want riffs. I was like, really? So I sent a few riffs, and a few hours. Like, I wrote 10 riffs in an hour. Just sent them over to him. And about 3 hours later, he sent this thing going, dude, one of those riffs is definitely making the album. The guys want to know if you want to come down. So I went down. At this point, I've done writing in Nashville and LA, like pop stuff. I get down, it's dead nervous. Instantly, we just hit it off, like instantly. And then they just put a guitar on me, gave me a Marshall stack, and went, "Let's go." They got a setup like it's like a big, it's like a live room.
Yeah.
And I just put my head down and played a riff, and it's the last track on the album. I've been there 2 years and wrote 7 songs with them on the album, and it's just been genuinely one of the best experiences of my life. And then that's why LostAlone are doing the McFly tour, which I never thought we'd do. We're doing their tour in October. Which is again like we can tour in My Chem, Paramore, 30 Seconds to Mars, Evanescence. We can tour with McFly. I think we could tour with like super heavy bands as well. Like without trying, we've got a bit like bands like Biffy and stuff. Like we've got big riffs, but we also got anthemic choruses, so you can tailor your set without compromising your integrity to. So I just thought that's an awesome challenge, and I genuinely love the guys so much. We've had and now I've got a writing team with Danny and Dougie. We write. So tomorrow, with No Offense, it's me, Danny, and Dougie.
What?
So yeah, that's evolved into us having a team to write for the people. So yeah, so again, those weird things where Jason Perry liked a song and tweeted me to now like just had a number 2 record with a cool band that I never saw coming.
That is so fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm going to Guns N' Roses tomorrow with Danny, so you get those little bonuses as well.
Amazing.
Bro, so cool, your life is insane.
Dude, it is mad. Like, it just seems to be like stumbling to like, oh yeah, cool, I'll do that. What? Like,
Oh my! Someone's just
Wow.
googled that song title that you were on.
It turns out it's Alan
cool.
from your band.
Oh, is it?
If you just read,
It's Alan from your band.
What have they googled?
Google the song title. So Doomageddon.
Oh yeah.
Brackets global.
I know.
Do you know-
Thermonuclear metafictional warfare.
Yep.
There he
And
is.
and the thing in the brackets is from the 1980s movie War Games, and it's the I don't know if anyone out there knows War Games, but it's a wicked film where this kid thinks he's playing a computer game, but he's actually controlling NORAD, and he's launching Russia against American nuclear. And the game is called Global Thermonuclear Metafictional Warfare. And I was like, I'm just chucking that in brackets at the end of the song title because
That's metal as fuck.
But yeah, so if people want to listen to that song, the very first thing you hear is that harmonized T-Rex and Orakai. And also, I just want to say, I think did not get permission. So if like anyone's listening from ILM or like Pete Jackson,
It's fair use.
Feel
If you
free.
change it enough.
Yeah.
It's in fair use law. Okay.
yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Oh, we will defend that with our lives. But I mean, like, dude, like the stories that you've got are insane. I mean, like, I could pick apart anything that you just mentioned and absolutely anything. But in fact, like trying to keep it to like LostAlone based conversation because I mean, just like, dude, we could talk to you about that McFly story, about the MCR stuff for days. But I mean, talking about Queen just then, that single that you chose to put out, like Enduring the Dream, like when you wrote that song, right, did you feel an essence of Freddie Mercury within you? Because like when I listen to that tune, like everything about it feels like something Freddie would have written.
Well, I think like to say that that's just like a permanent state for me is an understatement. Like I am like ninja level Queen. I mean, my favorite Queen album is Queen 2, and it's tattooed on my arm. And I'm looking at framed Queen stuff that you can't see there. Like I'm like a big collector of Queen, and also of you know, everyone's got this with their favorite bands. It's something I can't describe. I adore it, and it's within me. So I guess the answer to that question is no. I wasn't thinking of Queen. It just can't help that that's what I am.
Just
like
there.
I just am, and I think a lot of LostAlone songs are a combination of the fact that I used to pretend to be Bruce Dickinson and I Maiden on my bed when I was younger, and I also love Queen, and I love very heavy music, but I also like just went to see Frozen the musical and somehow managed talking to the actress who plays Elsa after, and now we're going to write together. What? So like I love musicals, and like there's just like a kind of, you know, I'm the only guy who went to see Frozen because I love Samantha Barks, who's the lead. She was in Les Mis, the movie, and she's amazing. She's got the best voice ever. And she plays the lead. If you walk around London, her hit posters everywhere because she's like Elsa in Frozen. Anyway, so LostAlone's a combination of like I love nothing more than like, if I could just be in like the back of a musical in a big crowd of people singing harmony. That's my like absolute dream. So LostAlone is like the heaviness of, you know, the bands I've always loved, you know, Nirvana and to all the metal stuff, Maiden and everything. New bands like, well, not new, but I love Sabaton. They really hit.
Nice.
Man, Sabaton, Christ. I went to their show the other day. It's like ABBA on metal steroids. Like, it's unbelievable.
Does he still have a tank as a drum kit?
Yes, the tank fires as well.
Yeah.
At certain points. It's just phenomenal. But yeah, I really love. I'm a big music. I'm a fan more than being a songwriter. I travel everywhere. I've got a band in Copenhagen called Mew, MEW.
Oh yeah,
incredible band, one of the best. And yeah, just to carry on my comedy life, they've been one of my favourite bands ever. And I end up at the lead singer's house in Copenhagen writing a song and staying for him for 3 days. I just don't understand my life.
Your passport must always be in your pocket at all times because you never know when you're going to get flown on a random flight somewhere.
I know. I saw Billy Talent the other day in Brighton, travelled for that. I adore Billy Talent. I love Shikari, and like obviously we toured together, and me and Rao have done some writing now. Rao's kind of a floating member of me, Danny, and Dougie's like writing team. So
really,
he'll come down, and like me and Rao did a couple of things here and at his house. So I find like it's just that thing of like, if you're a nice person, like karma because I know a lot of people in this industry I've met who are not too nice, and I've always just tried to like just be a good person, and I find that that's why a lot of the things that I've done in the past are still helping now, and you get, you know what I mean? Like it is karma, but like
Yeah, people want to work with you because they're like, oh, he's a nice guy and he's a talented.
And he's fucking talented as well.
Well, I mean, clearly I'm obviously a genius, so. But yeah, some people don't get my humor because some people now be like, that guy said he was a genius. So I'm obviously just, I mean, I've been called a genius in magazines. So
good, as you
anyway,
not my words.
I'm taking it too far now. The joke. I'm not saying I'm a genius.
Yeah, bro, I'll say it for you. Because I mean, like anyone who can sample dinosaurs and other mythical creatures over the top of each other, like that doesn't come from a normal train of thought. You got to have something special within you in order to like, especially like when you said there that your writing process exists within your head. I mean, like I'm guessing you must be close to like perfect pitch. Like you've got.
No.
Really?
No, I don't even, and I would encourage everybody to not do music lessons, like unless you want to be like a classical. Yeah. I've been called like like when Kerrang! Magazine do things like LostAlone thing, like, and I've been like, the categories like guitar wizard. And I always say this, and not to like just diss my ability, but I think when people watch me and think that guy's an incredible guitar player, but I can play the stuff I've written, and because I'm singing at the same time, it probably does look pretty mental that I can do both things, but I'm not like a technically incredible guitar player. There's people I've met who are like insane, but I don't think people could probably play my riff, but that's because I've heard them, and I find it really interesting. For the My Chem tour, we added an extra guitar player. We've always been a three-piece, but we kind of like, for stadiums, like most three-pieces, I'd never put stuff on track, so we like thought let's add because the records are very built up. What I found interesting was amazing guitar player, great friend, but he was like, this is quite weird, like this is not right, and I'm like, well, it is right because I wrote it. I think it's that thing where like, so my advice, not that anybody's asked, is like, just do what you hear because that will make it right for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not perfect pitch at all.
Damn.
I just like to walk, and I think it was detrimental recently because I love my AirPods. I love listening to a podcast or something, but I've now trained myself to every morning, because I get up at like 5, like I have to get up early. I can't rest.
Oh, you're an early bird.
I really get up early. I go for a walk without any headphones because I'd started to not hear music because I was always stimulated.
Right.
But now I do that walk, and it's quite a thing because you get the comfort of like, I'm listening to like the News Agents podcast because I love politics. Yeah. I'm not hearing music, so I've started like just doing walks and then being able to dictate into my like phone what I'm hearing, and it's just game changed me again. Like. Especially for LostAlone, because with writing sessions, when I first started, I was very much like I'd prepare for days, like what should we get to write? Whereas now I do the opposite. I'd go in with nothing.
Yep.
And I found that the most success I have in that is just on the spot, getting to know the artist. Anyway, we'll talk about writing again. Back to LostAlone. Forget writing.
It's all good, bro. I mean, like, if we want to take it back, brand new song out at midnight, the final call for Forever. I mean, what's the most you can tell us about this song before it drops at midnight?
I'd say it's probably one of the heaviest LostAlone songs ever.
Okay.
Like by a long way. There's a section in the middle that I've called the nightmare anxiety section, and it's just like I started getting like panic attacks, which I never have had before, but in the night, only in the night, where I bolt up and then like I'm just sat like, and I don't know why, and I just don't know why, but I tried to put that into a song. So the middle section, I hope it doesn't cause panic attacks, but so there's a big section of that, but it's actually a prequel to a song on the last album, which was called The Last Drop of Forever. And I was thinking when I wrote it, like George Lucas made the Star Wars prequels like 20 years after they came out, with all the baggage of fan theories and reviews and everything, and it kind of ruined what he probably originally would have been. So I was like, it'd be quite fun to get myself back in the headspace of a song I wrote on the QM2 and try and, like, while it's still fresh, write a prequel to it. So it's actually a prequel to a song on the last record. not like as a narrative, but just for me, I know it is, and it comes from the same place. And it's just the start of a bunch of singles that are going to come out this year. Towards like, I mean, I don't care about saying stuff like there'll be another album like next year, so it's just like single and single. So it's a big riff. It's always got a big. I think it's a big musical chorus because I can't help, however heavy so it gets. I have to like go full like stage show in the middle.
Full Frozen.
Full Frozen. That's a good term. Actually, I might use that.
Full Frozen.
I might scream that on stage at 2003 as we go into it. Full Frozen.
Frozen.
Yeah. And just everyone will be like, what? But yeah, so I'm so excited. It's always like so awesome, like when you release new stuff, because I love people telling me it's good. I just like it. Like, I mean, I tend not to see this stuff if anyone slags it off, but it's dead nice when you've slaved away on something to then get, like we were talking about earlier, I wish I could write a song and then instantly get told by fans, oh, we love that. And the kind of wait for it is like a thing. And then now you're actually going to like get to, have people tell you from around the world, oh, that's a cool track, So I'm like, I'm really excited to just have another song out there. Really cool.
Hell yeah. And just in time for 2000 Trees Festival next weekend, as you mentioned. And I mean, especially with where the band is now, I mean, set list wise at a festival, are you looking at putting more newer stuff in there, or are you still looking at like throwing it back with a couple of classics, or are you trying to focus more on what you've been writing like from that last album and then going forward?
Yeah, I think like it is a tough one actually, but for sets like this where they're probably like half an hour, like we're main stage on a Friday, but not like one of the later bands, like we're just like it's awesome to be on the main stage.
Hell yeah.
So for me, I tend to look at it more like a festival. We're not a big enough band where like there's a lot of people who don't know us are going to be there. So to me, it doesn't matter as much to like where we play our headline shows that you've got to put in songs that maybe aren't as, I don't want to say it's fun, but I obviously always like playing the new ones. So, but what's cool about this is it probably is going to be more tailored towards the new stuff, because that's what I think is the best stuff at the moment. And I think there'll be a lot of people out there who haven't seen us. Well, I hope there'll be people in the crowd when we play. But I want to focus on the newer stuff. And there's going to be like, we probably only play like 7 songs at a festival like this, so like it'll probably be like mainly new and a couple from like our what's considered hit songs from different albums that people resonated with. I
was going to say to you, so the record that I found you on was I'm a UFO in This City. That was back when I was working at Kerrang Radio producing Matt Stocks on his evening show.
Legend.
What a boy. And I mean, that album, I revisited it just before you came on today. Just when a record takes you back to a very certain point in time in your life, and then you start getting all the visual memories from it, and
totally.
Listening to songs off that record like Obey the Rules You Lose and Love Will Eat You Alive, and I was like, oh my days, like I've missed LostAlone being in my life. And then
so cool.
And then that pushed me in the direction of the newer stuff, and I was like, it's such a seamless transition. I feel like the songs that you're writing now, it's like production wise you can hear a difference in production, but it's still got what that bite was that LostAlone was on. I'm a UFO in This City. And I also didn't realize, looking back on it, like I feel like that My Chem connection, that's a very Danger Daisy kind of feeling record for you. Like
that's before that's actually before Danger Days as well. That's the record that so that's the record that after we do all that stuff I told you about earlier with My Chem, there's a few things went on, boring stuff, but then Gerard and me started talking, and I sent him really bad demos. So we didn't have a deal. We'd come out of our deal we were in, and we were like done our first record, and I sent him like over a weekend like 60 demos, and he was like, we're feeding back, and they were awful. I mean, I think good songs, but like I wasn't very good at that point at doing stuff. And he just said, is it cool if I take these into Craig Aronson at Warner Brothers? I was like, yeah. I mean, and Craig's a legend. He signed My Chem, and he was to do with at the drive-in, and he signed Jimmy Eat World twice. If you watch the My Chem documentary, the really famous one, Life on the Murder Scene, they talk about him a lot. I mean, he signed them. Craig's unfortunately passed away now, absolute legend. But anyway, so this is you'll enjoy this. Sorry if I'm taking a little time, but you'll enjoy this little story. So on the Friday we sacked our management. Our bass player left the same day. On the Saturday, there was a weird thing where I didn't have any connection to Mike M guys at that point, other than we played with them and we talked, but we didn't have a direct link. It was always through other people. But we'd severed ties with some people that could get through. So I got a copy of The Black Parade is Dead and found a name that I hadn't had any contact with called Carmen Romano. And I rang the number. I thought, I'm going to have to have a big speech here. He's a New York lawyer. And I was like, I got this secretary and I was like, oh, hey, I know it's a bit random, but I'm actually friends with Gerard. By the time, they've heard this a million times. I'm just trying to get hold of him. I was wondering if I could speak to Carmen Romano, and she went, I'll put you right through. And I was like, what? So she put me through to Carmen Romano, and I say, listen, this is the deal. We were managed by this person. That's how we had our contact. Gerard's a fan of the band. I'm just trying to get in touch. And he went, I'll make sure he hears this today. I was like, whatever. So he called a few hours later. I get a call from American number. I'm like, what? It's Gerard. And so so no management, no label, bass players left. And that weekend, Gerard starts listening to demos. We remember this guy in Glasgow who supported us, who had hair like ours, and we just thought, I wonder if he'd be good on bass. So superficial. We called him down for an audition. He came on the Monday. We were like, however good he is,
have you still got the haircut?
yeah, he did have the haircut. Thank God. He came down and he was amazing. Straight away, I was like, you're in the band. And then 2 days later, Craig Aronson called me and said, hey, Steve, just want to introduce myself. Gerard believes in you. He said some amazing sentence, but it was effectively so Gerard's word to me is just whatever, we need to talk. And then Gerard called me while I was in a cinema about a week later. And I went out and he went, dude, I just need to tell you, Warner are about to offer you a deal. And I was like, what? So that was within a week of losing everything to having this thing. Anyway, I'm a UFO in the City is the album that, because Gerard did that and was so instrumental, we made him executive producer. He helped get the actual producers involved. And it's one of the best times of my life. We had a month period where I would wake up in Derby, I'd write a song knowing that at 4 p.m. LA time, they'd be up. So they'd have a new demo every day for 30 days, and then I'd get instant feedback. And that UFO album, apart from 2 songs, was all written 2 weeks before we recorded it because I was just buzzing. And there was this I'd never been A&R'd, if you can call it. It's a horrible term, but it was somebody I respected so much with Craig Aronson. He was just it wasn't change your sound. It was well, what if you were Freddie Mercury playing Wembley? It was and I was like, okay, see you tomorrow. It was things like that. So it was just such a beautiful, how I'd dreamt it would be. And then, we got to go out to LA and we made that record there with a guy called Greg Wells, who's now anybody watching this who's got any recording equipment like Logic, Greg Wells plugins, what everyone uses. He's one of the biggest producers on the planet. And he also did the album we did Lockdown remotely. He mixed it for me. So again, that's what I mean about that was a friend we made then. We got on well. Then he joined Lockdown. I asked one of the biggest producers on the planet, hey, could you mix these songs? And he's like, yep, 100%. Just all those cool things where if you like good people, I think you kind of, Anyway, UFO in the City was that album.
Holy shit.
It's crazy, man.
Dude.
It sounds crazy to me telling this because I don't really say these words out loud much,
So I'm a UFO drop before Danger Days then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was,
that's 23rd.
Unless I'm lying.
Well, no, because if that's the case, there is so much of your influence on that Danger Days record. There's probably influence of it anyway, hearing how highly Gerard speaks of you. But I mean, I
wouldn't want to, just be clear, I wouldn't want to ever claim I'm some I just
No, that's me. That's me connecting those dots as a music lover and as a fan. I'm sat there listening to your record, being I can hear elements of your song, even the way in which your relationship is with your voice and the guitar, the way in which your voice is very similar, tonally speaking, to Gerard's as well. And I'd
say his is a loads better. He's a lot more expressive. I'll also just say this. I've just figured out in my head, Danger Days came out before UFO, but UFO was written and recorded and in the can before.
Damn, so he would have been hearing that record as well.
Well, yeah, he's literally on. His name's on it, but we had a big delay. So we did the Danger Days tour, and the record was ready, but it didn't come out because everyone at Warner Brothers, who we knew, was laid off.
What?
So there was like that. That's the next part of that story, which isn't quite as nice. But so we're on the Danger Days tour, meeting everyone at Warner Brothers in Europe because we signed in America. And I get a call like when we're in like Sweden from Craig just going, just so you know, me and my top boss, we're no longer at Warner. Not sure what's going to happen. So like the Hughes, Tegan and Sarah against me all got dropped. We got kept on the label, but I always think that was because like Gerard had brought us in and Warner didn't want to like annoy like one of their biggest acts. So we ended up having to like negotiate to get off it. So the record was made in 2010 and I believe it came out in 2012. Now that is painful.
Yeah.
I think Danger Days was 2011, which is when we did the tour. So that record was 2 years old when it came out.
I can't even begin to imagine the frustration for like, especially someone as creative as you, who like hearing you talk about your own music. You talk about your own music like you're your number one fan of your music, which I always think a good musician is. Like a good musician,
you got to back yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Like
listen, I listen to myself loads. I don't even lie. Like the new single that's coming out all the way today. I'm just listening to it, imagining other people.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. I love it, man. It's awesome. Like I don't necessarily I don't ever listen to our older albums unless it's like, we're going to do something for it, or like we're rehearsing and I want to get in that vibe. But the new stuff, and everyone I know does this. When you got a new recording, you're so excited. It's all you listen to for days and days.
Yeah. Steven, dude, your stories are the fucking best, man. And like, what's awesome is like my favorite part of this comeback is that like you've obviously been living within the musical scene like over the last 7 years or however long you said it has been. Like you've still been doing stuff, but as you said, like LostAlone was like part of your identity, and it was part of what made you. And now it's back. Like just hearing you talk with this level of excitement, not just about the past but about the future as well. I mean, touching on that last record, but also hearing you talk about the fact that, you know, it's singles, the plan the rest of the year. There's a record in mind at the end of the journey. I mean, like to end this interview on, dude, like my last question to you is that like, how does it feel? Like, how does it feel? Everything that you've been through with the gap of not having LostAlone, to all the stuff, the experience, to the songwriting process, like how does life feel for you right now?
It feels like, I think I've always, when the band like went on hiatus, ended, whatever you call it, like I was just like, okay, well, I'm obviously a songwriter, I obviously do this, and I've just kind of put my head almost in the musical sand of like, I just do this. I've always been quite relentless. The only difference in me now, and to answer your question without rambling on for ages, I'm trying really hard now to do something I never did before, which was to actually enjoy the moment. Like I played like so many stages, dream things like Wembley 3 times, like supporting bands, and all I was thinking on stage is what's that, like I was a business mind thinking, yeah, this tour's ace, but what's coming up next? Like I was always, and that goes back to that lyric I said, ambitions and affliction, every moment is a mission. And then on the new single that comes out tonight, the first line is fate, it's overrated, I don't want to live a life if I can't change it, and the world is your oyster but it's swallowed by a whale, we're all just part of the great exhale. And it's speaking to exactly what you just said. Like you gotta, like I like the magical nature of fate, but I gotta make it. Like no one who's like done well in anything they do was on some kind of fate. They have driven. I always think of Kurt Cobain, about people thought his like persona was, I didn't mean for this to happen. He totally meant, he was driven and wanted his band to be massive. Like, or they wouldn't have been. It's very easy to go, no, I'm not signing to Geffen.
Yep.
Like he wanted it, you know. So, so that's what I'd say about it. I think the lyrics on that song, like, kind of, again, I didn't realize that's how I just said it, but that kind of sums up the answer to your question. Like, fate is overrated.
Bro, Like,
beautiful words to end on.
They are phenomenal words to end on. And I mean, as of midnight, those will be the first words that I'm listening to going into this weekend.
Awesome.
I am so fucking excited for this brand new LostAlone song. It's called The Final Call for Forever. And like, Stephen, we could easily chat to you for another hour, my friend, but you are a very, very busy man. But this will be the first conversation of many, because anytime you want to come on the show, anytime you've got anything to promote, anytime you want, like, there's anything you want to talk about, this show's your platform. Just let us know. We will have you on any time that you want to come and talk.
That's so awesome. I've really enjoyed this chat. It's great to catch up, guys. Really.
Hell yeah. And we look forward to seeing you next weekend on the fucking main stage at 2000 Trees Festival.
Yeah, that's going to be so cool. I love that festival as well, so I'm really, really excited to be at it.
Hell yeah. Well, my friends, 2000 Trees Festival is next weekend. You got to make sure you check out LostAlone. One time, show some love and appreciation to Steven Battelle.
Cheers, Steve.
Thanks, guys.
I'm gonna put myself on a cruise.
Do it. See you guys later. Bye.
Thank you, bro. Take care, man. Bye. Oh, bro.
Man's got stories for days.
Bro. That is one of my favorite interviews we've done on this show.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, like, straight up in there as one
Just
of my favorites.
everything he had just had like another story attached onto the story.
Yeah.
Attached onto the story. Yeah, that was great.
Oh.
And yeah, playing Trees next weekend. And if you want to go to Trees next weekend, we got to pick a winner.
We do have to pick a winner. So let me just double check that whilst we were on, we haven't had any more entries. I don't think we have. I can't see any notifications.
I've got the Twitter up here if you want to look.
So nothing on Instagram. No. Cool. So we need a random number generator. Give me a second.
Random number generator.
I can't spell for shit.
Yeah, John's
very
little
dyslexic.
dyslexic.
Right. Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah, I haven't got anything in front of me, but you're just gonna pick the winner.
I'm just gonna hit I'm just gonna hit the random number generator. So congratulations to Jessica Haylock. You are off to 2000 Trees Festival, my friend, courtesy of the Jon Mahon.
Couple of tickets, isn't it?
A pair of tickets.
You and a friend.
To 2000 Trees Festival. I will drop you a message. But yeah, congratulations to Jessica Haylock, the winner of our 2000 Trees giveaway. Well done to you, my friend. And to everyone who entered the giveaway, thank you ever so much. We really do appreciate it. We are going to try our best to do more of the giveaways on this show. It's just our way of saying thank you to you.
Yeah, thank you for watching this bullshit.
Yeah.
Not the interviews.
Yeah, the interviews are great, but the
bit in between.
The bullshit comes in betwixt.
In betwixt the shit. You know what I'm saying.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm still thinking about stuff that fucking Steven said.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. Like, when he said that thing about watching your own or listening to your own stuff back, like, I'm the biggest sucker for doing that. Anytime I make a mashup, I watch it or listen to it back. But with doing this show, like, I watch this show back quite a lot.
Do you?
Like, yeah.
See, I rarely watch this show back.
Really?
Because I hate the sound of my own voice.
Oh, bro, you sound beautiful, though.
Nah. Because I've watched it a few times. Sometimes I watch, like, the clips that we put up, and I'm just like, Ollie, shut up.
No, never. I will not have you talk about yourself that way.
But I feel like that's quite a common thing with people's voices.
Yeah, I know, bro. When I first got into radio and I was doing demo tapes, I hated the sound of my own voice.
Did you know Tom York, Radiohead, hates his voice?
I hate his voice too.
John's a Radiohead hater. One of the biggest, most influential bands in the world.
Yeah.
John hates them.
Elevator music.
But yet he likes Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
Make of that what you will.
We haven't finished that Trees preview either.
Do you want to finish the Trees preview?
We'll run through it. We'll just quickly run through the Friday and the Saturday. I want to do it justice.
Yeah, let's go.
So Friday,
we got headliners. Bullet for My Valentine,
who I'm going to miss, and I'm so fucking annoyed about it.
You're going to miss half of these bands, John.
Yeah.
Rival Schools, not that familiar with them.
fuck, I'm gonna miss Cancer Bats as
However,
well.
Dinosaur Pileup, they played last year on the main stage, but I guess they've been bumped up to a probably
Main support, yeah. Their main support to Butch
Main
My
support.
Valentine on the Friday.
But Dinosaur Pileup are one of the best. If you're not in a good mood when they play, you'll be in a good mood after they play.
Yeah. I'm always on the back foot. Yeah. I tell you what, it's a nice little run on the main stage that day. Harriet into LostAlone.
Is it?
Yeah.
Harriet LostAlone.
That's a fucking wicked one too.
Yeah. So LostAlone will be playing what, like 2-ish? Yeah.
2 till 2:30.
That's a good slot.
Yeah, very good slot. And shout out on the Cave stage as well. First 2 bands on the Cave stage that day. Raptors into Black Gold.
Ooh.
That's a nice little pairing.
Do you want to know one of my hot tips for that day?
Go on.
Go and watch Kubla Khan.
Kubla Khan.
TX.
Kubla Can't Wait.
Kubla Can't Wait. I saw them supporting Counterparts in Birmingham, and they're fucking great.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
like-
You were really, really
if
into
you
that
like
set, weren't you?
just southern hardcore metal, and like the singer's like proper Texan, like he just looks like a Texan man.
Sick.
And
Sold.
they're just heavy as fuck and just get like the crowd going.
Sold.
Go and see Kubla Khan TX.
That stage that day is pretty fucking mean, to be fair. Bro, check this out. It goes Kubla Khan into Employed to Serve into Cancer Bats.
Nice.
That's
See,
a real fucking free band run.
Friday is quite a heavy day.
Yeah.
Music wise.
Real heavy day. Then the Axiom stage, you've got Empire State Bastard, Excerpts, Beauty School from Leeds.
Yeah.
It's a good little run of bands. As Everything Unfolds, playing the NEU stage that night. And let's look at how ridiculous the Forest Session stage is for that day. Kelsey Carter is on the Friday. My friends, if you've not listened to Kelsey Carter, check out Kelsey Carter, an amazing vocalist. A song called Cover You that I'm absolutely addicted to. Definitely going to try and check out that set if I can.
Yeah, you played me a bit of her before. And
Yeah,
very good voice.
Really good voice.
Some pipes on her.
Hell yeah. And I do believe that's it for highlights on the Friday. And then
I mean, just going along, like Heart Attack Man, great pop punk band. Military Gun, another sort of like punky, hardcore band.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Zulu as well, great hardcore band. So check out all those. And then
Saturday's pretty big.
Frankie C and the R.
Frankie C and the R's.
Frankie C and the RSs.
The RSs. Yeah, Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes headlining, closing out the festival. That'll be huge. Def Havana on the main stage that day as well.
You know what? 100 Reasons. I don't know. You're probably not the biggest fan, but they have some bangers. And if you see them live, you'll be like, oh, I recognize this one. I recognize this one. They're a big like Scuzz band back in the day.
Okay.
Big Scuzz and Kerrang band.
Holding Absence into 100 Reasons. Oh no, Holding Absence into Def Havana into 100 Reasons. Not a bad
Main
one.
stage, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess who else is on the main stage on the Saturday?
Such yeah. I don't like seeing them around for a while.
Bro, where the fuck have they been?
They just always been there, but
Are they from the UK?
Nah, I don't think so. I always assume they're American
I assume they're American as well.
because he doesn't sound British. Does
Doesn't sound British in the slightest. Where are they from?
Gay bar.
They're from Michigan, definitely from the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing Electric Sixty.
Also, one of the weirdest bookings for this weekend, and it sticks out like a sore thumb on this poster. Chelsea Grin.
I was just about to say, where the fuck have Chelsea Grin been this entire time? I've just noticed that they're on the Saturday.
Like heavy as fuck.
Yeah, heavy as fuck can be.
Like I can't see who else is going to be who they're going to be playing next to. That's going to like match up to that heaviness.
So they're on at 7-ish, and on the main stage, on the Cave stage, no one's on the Cave stage at that time. Like Def Havana finish and they
Honestly,
come on.
Chelsea Grin back in the day, I used to bump. Is that a word?
Bump.
I used to bump them.
Bump the Chelsea Grin.
Like proper good deathcore.
Very good deathcore. And then also on the Forest stage that day. There is a secret set, 1:30 till 2:30.
Do you reckon it's a band that's already up there? Do you reckon it's Frank Carter?
Could be.
I reckon it's Frank Carter.
Could be. That's a very good shout, actually. Cody Frost is on that day as well. That'll be sick. Delilah Bomb, Jamie Lenman, Kneecap. I don't actually know Kneecap. You strike me as someone who knows Kneecap.
Nah, never heard Kneecap.
Really?
Why? Well, because it sounds like a hardcore band or something.
Yeah.
Joe, one of my favorite games is just finding bands' names that I've never heard of, but I like. And the one I've picked out on here sounds mint.
Sounds mint.
That's a great name for a band.
Where is it? There we go. Sounds mint. You can go watch Sounds Mint. I'll go watch Dick Valentine.
That sounds mint.
Dick Valentine sounds mint.
Yeah. Also, a shout out Modern Arrow playing. They're a great band. Great band.
Hell yeah. And that, my friends, is 2000 Trees Festival 2023.
In a nutshell.
Oh, you use that line.
Have nuts.
Ollie, right then, just use the throwback for the Scuzz 2000 Trees.
Yeah, I'll give a little context. I think it's 2018. I did a 2000 Trees show on Scuzz.
Yep.
And it was you and Sophie K presenting.
Yep.
And I wrote a script, and every other line was a tree pun
that I had to do.
That you had to do.
That I specifically.
Well, you can't. If there's two presenters, you need one to be like. It's like, oh, dynamic. I'm like the. Am I the straight guy? Or who's the funny one? Anyway, you were like the pun guy.
Yeah.
And Sophie was just like the
eye roller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wrote a lot of tree puns for that.
Yeah.
I actually can't remember them.
I remember I sent you a fucking list.
Well, it was something like...
I worked for like a day on tree puns.
Yeah.
There's Steven Battelle boshing out like fucking 7 riffs that make me fly records like in a day, and there's me spending 24 hours trying to think of tree puns.
Well, I tried to like write it so it sort of made sense in the context of the festival, but I think it turned out okay.
Yeah.
I'll dig that out somewhere. It's on a hard drive.
I've definitely got the promo on Instagram somewhere, because what's the song is? It was a daydream, baby.
That's the excerpt.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. We're playing this shit.
Yeah.
Well, my friends,
it's been a long show.
Very long show. You got 10 minutes worth of bonus content out of us. Look at that.
Bonus.
Well,
shut up, John.
God damn it.
Also, t-shirt, what is it?
Band T Thursday. Totally forgot about that. What are you repping this Thursday, Ollie?
I always get it the wrong way.
Get the badge in.
Bit of spirit box.
Let's go, Band T Thursday.
Yeah.
I always keep forgetting to post about Band T Thursday. I keep meaning to post about it on Wednesday.
I'm running out, John. I'm not going to lie.
Do I need to buy you a band t-shirt at 2000 Trees? Okay, right.
Oh, someone send me a band t-shirt.
Who's your favourite band playing 2000 Trees?
Actually, yeah, I could just buy someone.
Who's your favourite band? Because I'll get you a band t-shirt.
I'd quite like a Holding Absence one.
Holding Absence?
Or Wonder Years.
Holding Absence or Wonder Years. I'll get you a Holding Absence or Wonder Years band t-shirt.
Or Dick Valentine.
Oh, Dick Valentine t-shirt.
What's the other one?
Mint.
Prince Daddy and the Hyena.
Or wasn't it something mint?
Sounds mint.
Sounds mint. Sounds mint.
Any of those will be fine.
Hell yeah. Well, my friends, come join us on Monday's show. We've got no idea what the fuck's going on it, but we'll see. I don't think I've got any guests lined up. There's a guest that I'm trying to get on the show, and if I can get this guest on the show,
who is it?
I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to put it out into the universe in case I can't.
Barack Obama.
Imagine. It's not Barack Obama. But
tune in just in case.
We
won't be. Won't be back next Thursday.
Yeah, it'll be
We'll be in the field.
Yeah, we'll be here on Monday. No show on Thursday. Probably no show on. Well, do you want to do a show on Monday after, or do you want to do the tree special? Then?
It depends. Yeah, maybe if I have to edit a lot of stuff. Probably
Yeah.
won't do one on Monday.
Yeah, we'll do the tree special that Monday. But thank you ever so much for watching, my friends. We really do appreciate it. All that's left for me to say is my name's Jon Mahon. Peace and love. Stay alive.
And I'm Ollie. Go fudge yourself.
Oh, you censored at the end as well. Yeah. Start and end with the censorship.
Yeah.
It's a nice little bookend story.
I've slipped up a few times, but
a few.
Couple. Anyway, peace and love and all that jazz. Go fuck yourself.
There he is. Let's go.